I'd like to call the Joint Special School Building Committee to order. We're at the Nashua High School North Lecture Hall. It's Thursday, May 23rd, 2024 at 7 p.m. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dowd,
Present.
Alderman Wilshire, Alderwoman Timmons, Alderman Sullivan,
Here.
Alderman Lopez.
Here.
Miss Raymond is stuck in Concord. Miss Bishop is here. Miss Giglio.
Here.
Miss Daniels-Williams.
Here.
Friend is not here, but she may pop in.
Okay. So if the clerk would now please read the prayer, and I was going to have Miss Prin do the, Miss Bishop, would you do the pledges?
Sure. All right, we stand up. Almighty God, we have the high honor and serious, I apologize, I do not have my glasses tonight, they're in my car. Almighty God, we have the high honor and serious duty to manage the educational affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all of our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. If there are no objection, I'll waive the reading of the minutes of April 18th, 2024 and place them on file. Remarks by Chairman. I just want to thank the superintendent for his presentation to the Board of Aldermen on the budget the other night. It was excellent and went very smoothly, so thank you very much. Remarks by school administration. Dr. Andre?
Yep. I was fortunate enough to be at McCarthy Middle School this afternoon with Alderman Dowd as well, to give a tour to some outside people. The furniture's coming in. It's coming along nicely. So we've been impressed for the last 18 months on the work of day to day, but just to have outsiders walk in and just be overwhelmed and awed on just the thought behind it, the coordination, the thoughtfulness, and just where they can see where the district is going, not only in the school building, but also our vision around teaching and learning. So I know you can add to it, but I think they were dumbfounded by the building itself and a couple of their comments of like, this is the future of school. So I just need to, again, commend this team and this community for that major investment.
I'm getting a phone call from their building chairman. They love the school. The air conditioning's working, by the way, thank God. And uniform throughout the school. Most of the furniture is in. Every day there's more and more furniture going in. One thing I pointed out to them is the chairs that we have in the school, they're heavy. Lift them. Middle school kids can't lift them and throw them. They're very comfortable though. And the desks, the ergonomics on the teacher's desk, and the principal was there today as well, and can't wait to get over to the new school. So it went extremely well, and they were just amazed at how good a job, and they admitted that they have a real mountain to climb going forward. But I told them if I can help them at all, give me a call. So
Again, I just want to thank this team, the collaboration, and the support of the community to make it happen. So it's coming along. We'll hear later on, but everything seems to be on schedule and we're ready to go.
all right. Sean, anything?
Nothing yet.
Okay. Yeah, you get some later. All right. Items for discussion. The first item for discussion will be the architect's report. Jamie from Harriman.
Good evening, everyone. Jamie Willett with Harriman. I passed around a memo tonight. I'll go through that for a brief summary on ongoing architectural and engineering duties. At the Brian S. McCarthy Middle School, Harriman, last Thursday I was there completing the architectural portion of the punch list for the building. With the exception, I still got to get up on the final pieces of the roof and review the roof. I was up there to review the walls up there, the exterior walls, but the roof was still had some things up there as construction starts to wind down. So I was going to hold off and do that shortly. Harriman's mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineering team are doing their final punch this week and next. I know the electrical team is there today reviewing the building. And we also had our food service consultant there a week or two ago to do their final punch of the kitchen. As Dr. Andre had mentioned, the furniture deliveries and installation are underway. I think most of the classroom side is nearing completion, and they'll start bringing stuff on the other side of the building in the first weeks of June. We've been coordinating with the Nashua School District Administration on some final questions about equipment and some of the spaces, some of the nuances of things that they are not familiar with. So, coordinating via email and phone calls to clarify parts and pieces that they were inquiring about. And then just a few final close-up pieces for design and construction adjustments. We've been coordinating with the city and the school district and Harvey on those parts and pieces for the school. So it's very near the end here for our portions. I think we're getting close, and they're really just a wonderful space. I personally am proud, but really glad for this community. I wish I lived in the town for my kids to go here. Uh, and then moving on to Pennachuck Middle School, the air conditioning project over there. We just really are continuing our administration tasks right now in conjunction with Harvey's submittals and things like that are coming in. Birch Hill and Maine Dunstable Elementary Schools, continuing our regular construction administration tasks. We've been coordinating design aspects with some of the additional bond efforts that were voted to go through, including like the additional site improvement. Our plans are underway. We had a coordination meeting with Harvey on some of the nuance of that that was this week. It was a little bit earlier this week. That's kind of my quick summary. I'd love to share pictures, but Harvey gets to do all of those now.
Yes, Ken, there's quite a few pictures. Any questions for the architect? Seeing none. Ken?
Okay, good evening, everybody. Ken Lemarier, project manager with Harvey Construction. So as usual, we'll take you through some construction updates. I will give the update for the Brian S. McCarthy Middle School. They mentioned we have quite a few new photos now. And then Brendan and EEI will give you an update on Maine Dunstable Birch Hill, as well as Pennachuck Middle School, and then Dr. Crisp. So start here. So starting at the exterior of the site, so the upper left-hand corner, so that is the new D'Antonio Drive. So that has been 100% paved and striped. We do have a couple of areas, especially at particularly at the bottom of the road, that we're gonna, couple of lines that need to be readjusted. So when we do the final paving around the school, we'll touch those lines up. Working up towards the school, so you can see that the athletic fields have gone through now 3 growing seasons. So we've had as you can see, pretty substantial growth there. That photo was taken, I believe, last Friday after a fresh cut. So we'll continue to maintain and water the grass over the summer and turn it over on September 1st when the school opens. The track resurfacing will take place after the Memorial Day holiday. That's roughly a 3-week period, so it'll be closed to the public, and then everything should be kind of freshened up as far by August 1st. All the fields will be finely tuned. You can see the upper right-hand corner. We've got the playground equipment is installed. First week of June, there's a rubberized surface that will be placed in that area, so that area will be finished. So pretty much everything on site will be complete, and will be final paving and shutting down the site the week of July 4th. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll be final paving everything around this, on the site, and kind of close it down and shut it down for that entire week. We want to kind of avoid any vehicle traffic on a hot pavement in the warm summer temps. So as far as on-site activities, right now, we've got tree service kind of going around the perimeter of the site and taking down any trees that have fallen over the last 2 years to make sure that it's all cleaned up and safe around the perimeter of the site. So that's taking place, that was this week and early next week. And then landscaping is going to be ongoing.
So that playground is for special needs students only on the first floor of the D wing. And that other picture on the right, the bottom right, that's the emergency access gate to the emergency access road. It's been tested repeatedly by the Nashua Fire Department. It's opened by siren. So it's good to go. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a fence now along the edge of Medallion that comes right across and on the other side of the security fence.
Correct. There will be a permanent fence along Medallion, just kind of separate, the school grounds from the neighborhood. And there's also going to be kind of like screening plantings on both sides of the fence. And then kind of off to the screen here on the right for the abutters, we did add some landscaping in there as well to kind of give the homeowners a little privacy from that emergency walkway. Moving to the interior of the school, so a couple of just major milestone dates. So we did, one of probably the biggest milestones that we reached in the project was we were able to obtain the temporary certificate of occupancy from the building department and the fire department, and that was at the end of April. So we did hit our target there, and what that allowed us to do was allow all the vendors and the various, Mr. Smith's team and pretty much everybody to come into the school and start to get the spaces ready, start to learn the spaces. So now we do have, normally these school projects at the end, it's usually kind of a mad dash at the end of the summer. We can kind of avoid that, and we can kind of get to know the space this summer. So it's something that doesn't happen, and I'm very thankful in this project that's going that way. So mechanical, electrical, and plumbing commissioning is ongoing. They've been on site throughout the last like 2 or 3 weeks. It's kind of just making sure that all the mechanical equipment is up to Harriman specifications. So we actually ate lunch with those folks today to make sure that we're all on the same page and everything seems to be going well. Jamie and Alderman Dowd mentioned earlier about the owner equipment and furniture coming in. Pretty much working with Mr. Smith's custodial team to clean from top down. So many of the upper floors are already final cleaned at this stage, which is a good milestone to achieve as well. And then we're going to be pushing for final certificate of occupancy for August 1st. So kind of that's when we kind of snap the line in the sand for our items, and then that'll give Harriman one last chance to go in and give us a chance to address any final items that we need for our substantial completion.
One thing that you can't see, and I didn't see a picture of it, is if you see where the M is on the cafeteria on the bottom, that door to the left is a patio. The kids can have tables out there and eat outside in warm weather or nice weather. I don't know about warm weather, but today it's be too hot.
And Jamie, feel free to jump in. This is your design, so if you want to talk about any design features.
Yeah.
I'll just note that it's a fenced-in patio area.
Yeah,
Right.
I told them today that's to keep the people from escaping.
So here in the upper left-hand corner is just the new main entry. This was taken a few weeks ago when the concrete benches were placed. There is an ice melt system beneath all of these patio pavers, so in the wintertime, helps with the melting of ice to no-slip surfaces. This is a corridor walking down from Area A down to the main cafetorium. So here's the stage here. And just, if anyone has any questions, just feel free to jump in and
Those where the bollards are going in,
right here.
white things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Similar to, yeah, so these are the bases for the bollards, similar that you've seen at Fairgrounds and Pennachuck.
Ken, if I may. The second photo on the top there is adjacent to the tech ed classroom. And I just wanted to know a little bit of the design feature in that wall. I mean, it's a technology space, but in addition, if anybody recalls the corridors in the 1930s Elm Street building, it's got this kind of unique pattern going up and down. Although the colors there are like orange and brown and gray, we wanted to kind of bring some reflection of historical nature for that school that's kind of being replaced. And this is a little nod to that design on that tile wainscot in those corners.
And the lower right here, this is the new library on the second floor of Building A. Couple more photos here.
Upper left, those are the chairs I was talking about.
Right, yeah. So this is one of the learning kind of the group learning areas that's at the end of every building. So there's kind of a storefront area and then a sitting area and then writable surface on all of the walls. Here's just inside so this is the kind of like one of the main features in the Harriman design is all the natural light. So this is just wanted to show the skylight in the new library. Here's an example of the group bathrooms here. It's a general corridor and all of the in the student wing, and then here's just inside of the security vestibule of the main entrance. Any questions on McCarthy before we move on?
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Brendan Orell, Harvey Construction, Project Manager. I'll give you an update on Birch Hill and Maine Dunstable. And I also have here, 2 seats down, Adam Janess from EEI, a new face. He works sort of in the day-to-day operation on the Birch Hill and Maine Dunstable projects with me. So good to have him here. And Adam, feel free to jump in if there's anything you'd like to add. A lot less pictures than Ken has. Well, the work has been progressing very quickly. As you can see, I've provided a list of all of the items that have been completed. So for this update here, we are working on the phase 3 space. And as you recall, this space is tracking out to be completed in August. However, we are eyeballing our final inspections over the next 2 weeks here. And we've been pushing to sort of expedite this space in an effort to allow the teachers, faculty, and staff to move into their permanent spaces when the summer lets out. Instead of having to kind of move around and around and around, they can at least move their furniture into these spaces. So you'll see some of the flooring has been completed, millwork has been completed. The space has progressed very quickly. So from one of our last updates, I was touching upon a lot of the asbestos abatement that we were trying to take care of over April break. So this bottom right-hand image is one of those areas that we tackled the abatement in. That was the elevator floor. So we did identify that there was some mastic below the tile that needed to be abated, and we took care of that for Mr. Smith and his team to ensure that there is no asbestos left in this building when we leave, for the most part at least. And EEI has been working very hard. They worked through all of their in-wall MEP rough-in inspections after completing the rough-in and the installation of the work. All of the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems have been roughed in overhead. There have also been completed inspections on those items, and we are tracking the final inspections over the coming weeks, as I know.
Don't forget to explain the acronyms, because some people, especially viewing audience, won't know what you're talking about.
Correct.
Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing.
Yes. After completing those inspections, we closed up the wall, drywall and finishes. On the exterior of the building, I had noted at our previous meeting, we are working on all of the storefronts or window systems that get installed throughout the exterior of the building. We have since completed the precast sills at the bottom of those windows. EEI was also able to complete all of the rigging of their air handling unit systems. So there were 4 air handlers that were brought in under this phase, and all of those pieces of equipment have been brought into that space. If you want to add anything there, Adam.
No, Adam Janas, EEI. Thanks for having me. You can see in the left-hand picture the air handlers. We jumped ahead a little bit. Those are for the next phase, but they're actually stashed down there at the end of the hallway, which is going to cut down. We want to get the windows closed up. So while the windows were open, we figured we would get these units in there, and it makes nice, easy access, and will really expedite installing those in the mezzanine mechanical space. Also in the upper right picture, the progress is a bit further along, but you can see the new lights. All the new lights have been installed. Ceilings are starting to go in, and we're really excited with where we are. We've pushed the schedule, and looking forward to the summer. We've made a lot of provisions. Some of the classrooms that we haven't been turned over to us just yet. During breaks and off hours, we've been able to push some of these MEP systems a bit into those classrooms, which will allow us to connect easier come the summer, so we don't have to backtrack into any finished classrooms.
Moving on to the next slide here. So as you can see in the top left-hand photo, and we've started to populate the finished flooring and the tile on the floor. You can see the patterns that Harriman has designed here. And this has been completed on the entire second floor at Main Dunstable. It is in progress on the second floor at Birch Hill. And when I was on site yesterday at Main Dunstable, they were ready to start installing on the lower level at Main Dunstable as well. Some things you don't see in these images is the millwork assemblies, which is all the cabinetry, the teachers' wardrobes, all of those items. Those have started to populate as well. So once again, when I was on site yesterday at Main Dunstable, I'd say about an 85% completion on the second floor. So really moving along. What we're tracking in the next couple of weeks here is actually getting in to do our finish paint, complete the flooring, and EEI will continue to push through with their mechanical, electrical, and plumbing inspections, as well as the HVAC controls, and then we'll move on to commissioning and push for our temporary certificate of occupancy for this space.
Maybe the next meeting, kids are out of the school, take pictures of what we've already completed.
That is the hope. What I would like to do for next meeting is we're going to be in several areas of the building. So I intend to show sort of a total map of the building, showing you where we are, what we're working on completing over the course of the summer, and then also try and grab some photos after our temporary walls come down to show sort of the completed state almost of the second floor and the lower level. And some of the other items that'll come up, the lockers and the cubbies, we're going to do those over the summer, just to have one swift operation to come in and install those for the remaining areas. So those will all be completed this summer. And then we will move on to the stair treads on the staircases. And then, as I mentioned earlier, final inspections and commissioning. Any questions on Birch Hill
Questions
or
on
Main Dunstable?
Dunstable, Birch Hill? Okay.
Pennachuck Middle School dehumidification. So a lot of work's been completed over the last month and a half here. We still have submittals and RFIs ongoing with Harriman and their team. As I had mentioned at the previous meeting, we were able to mobilize on site 2 weeks ahead of schedule. And we were working in these 2 attic spaces. We had been tracking that work for the summer, and we have since completed the installation of the mechanical piping through both of those attics. So it is now sitting here on either end, and once the students let out, we will erect the steel on this area of the roof and bring all of the equipment up to that point as well. Additionally, we are now working fully in the south addition. This area has been closed off and turned into a construction zone. And we have been working down there for about a month. So here are some pictures of the work that's been completed. A lot of the same things over and over again, so just a few small photos here. But as I had said, this was all the refrigerant piping coming out of the attic spaces. You can see it here as it travels through those spaces. We've installed all 22 cassette units in the South Addition. All of the controls wiring has been completed. The electrical was completed as of yesterday. Refrigerant piping is ongoing, and we will be pressure testing next week, so that will be completed by the end of next week. Condensate piping, they're wrapping up just a few details this week. So we are pushing to get out of the South Addition and allow Gabe to come back into this space. Once the students let out in the summer, we will then transition to the North Addition. And then we will be sort of between the two additions as we start the system up and commission that system. So a lot of progress down there.
So you'll never probably get to go up and see, these are the sloped roofs at Pennachuck. That's what the attic looks like.
While we were up here, we laid down some plywood to create a safe catwalk that we'll leave for Mr. Smith and his team in the future. And we also installed some lighting up there just to ensure that it was a safe work zone, and that will remain up there in the future as well.
Any questions on Pennachuck? Seeing none? Good.
Moving on to Dr. Crisp Elementary School, the security upgrades. A lot of work over here as well. Been working with the HL Turner Group to work through all of these submittals and RFIs for this project, which are moving through pretty swiftly, actually. So that's been very, very good, just to keep us in a state where materials are getting approved and we're ready to get down on site. So with that being noted, we are actually looking to mobilize about a week out from now. So we will be on site starting on June 3rd. We will be establishing a temporary wall on Friday afternoon as well as Saturday, creating a safe construction zone, putting some signage. I was down there yesterday with Colleen Hussey, the principal, just to review kind of the logistics over the next few weeks and how things will sort of transform as we progress into the work. Additionally, we had an on-site review with the state fire marshal's office, the local fire marshal's office to walk through all of the fire alarm system upgrades, the work that we'll be performing throughout the summer, making sure that they understand what we're doing and address any concerns they may have. We've secured all of the building, electrical, and mechanical permits. The fire alarm permits are all in progress following the review on site. And then, as I said, the state fire marshal's office has been in receipt of all of the documents, so they are under review as well.
Every time we touch a school, we upgrade the fire panel because difference between the old panels and new panels is significant to the fire department.
Yeah, this system will be fully addressable. You'll be able to identify any device that is causing the alarm. So it's really a tremendous upgrade. Yeah.
Any questions on Dr. Crisp? None? Thank you. On to your
Couple bookkeeping items. Okay, we'll go down the list. Birch Hill, I'll start with that one. So I do have two bookkeeping items to run through for this meeting. These are just comprised of the previously approved gymnasium improvements, which included the acoustical panels on the ceiling, the gym floor, etc. So PCCO number 4 for Birch Hill Elementary School. As stated, this is comprised of the previously approved gymnasium improvements PCO. If approved, this would be for $70.29. As stated, this is just a bookkeeping item. The previous PCO was approved at the previous meeting.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to approve the PCCO number 4 for the Birch Hill Elementary School in the amount of $154,070.29. So moved by Alderman Wiltshire. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The second item I have is the same item, but for Maine Dunstable Elementary School. So this is PCCO number 4, Maine Dunstable Elementary School, comprised of the gymnasium improvements for a value of $155,490.73.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to approve PCCO number 4 for the Maine Dunstable Elementary School for the amount of $155,490.73.
Moved.
So moved by Alderman Lopez. Any questions?
I have a question. So, is it in addition to PCO number 7 that was approved last?
No, the PCOs are approved, that's what we approved to do the spending. The
Okay.
PCCOs are just to modify the contract to reflect that PCO was approved. So
Absolutely.
it's just a bookkeeping item.
Thank you for the clarification.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. I do have one item to present for the Pennachuck Middle School dehumidification project. So this is an item that was identified in conjunction with Mr. Smith and his team. As stated at the last meeting, there is one roof that was not touched while we were on site doing the renovation and addition project. Over the last about a year and a half, 2 years since we have left the site, there are some minor leaks in that roof. Mr. Smith and I reviewed his internal records and found that he does have a warranty on the rubber membrane, so that is on the materials themselves. But that does not cover the workmanship, which is really what's degrading at this point. The seams in between the rubber membrane are starting to peel apart as a result of dried out glue, and it's just one of those items that starts to come at a 20-year mark. So that roof right now is approaching its 20-year mark, and Mr. Smith typically likes to get about 30 years out of his roof. So what this PCO would do is we would basically provide new rubber strips and new glue that would go over all the seams of the existing membrane laps. We would also go over any of the skylights, any of the exhaust fans or penetrations on the roof, and kind of clean up those seams and reseal them. And what this would do is essentially buy Mr. Smith and his team another 5 to 10 years so he could reach that 30-year mark. And in conjunction with this, I actually did price out the full replacement and provided that to Mr. Smith so that he has that for future reference of down the road, 10 years, what would it cost to sort of replace this roof. So this is PCO number 1 for the Pennachuck dehumidification project. This is for the cafeteria roof repairs. If approved, it would be a value of $23,332.71.
I'll need a motion to approve PCO number 1 for the Pennachuck dehumidification project for the repair of the cafeteria roof in an amount not to exceed $23,332.71.
So moved.
So Gilio, any questions?
Question, please.
Question?
Um,
Sullivan.
Thank you. I don't know if you mentioned this. Does this come with any type of a warranty?
It does not. So what this would do is the existing warranty that's in place, it doesn't cover the workmanship. So this would basically reassess or improve that workmanship. So it's really just minor repairs so that warranty would extend out through its remaining life. And then Mr. Smith could get this to about a 30-year mark.
Okay.
It does come with a 1-year warranty in the workmanship, though. I do want to clarify that.
Lopez?
Just out of curiosity, if you add to the workmanship or you patch up the roof as is being done, does that have any bearing on the material warranty that you still have?
It does not, no. So the existing warranty that's in place, as you stated, it covers the materials that are there. but it would not affect the workmanship. The warranty that is given at the end of a project, that's typically a 20-year warranty with certain wind load requirements and everything. So that covers just the material, and it would never cover the workmanship. Hope that answers that.
I'm just thinking like if you open your iPhone and the warranty's void, so is the other company that gave us the supply going to void theirs if we put anything on top of it?
No, no, it would not void theirs.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Lightning.
Okay, now, do you want to do the EEI?
I'd be happy to. Do you have any objections if the main Dunstable and the Birch Hill PCOs and PCCOs are identical to each other? Do you
I
have any
don't.
objection to doing them together?
I said I don't, but the committee wants to will understand that we're going through some EEI PCOs, PCCOs. All PCCOs or,
There are 3 of each.
so one PCO,
3. A PCO 5, 6,
6
and 7.
and 3, all right.
Yes.
All right. So these are the same work, same prices for both schools. So unless there's an objection, we're going to take them together. So when we approve the action, it'll be for both schools. Right?
Very good.
So let me just, the first, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll take it here. Yes, PCO number 5, Birch Hill Elementary School and Maine Dunstable Elementary School. As in regard to the data rack in the media room, this is to remove all the electronic equipment from the existing data rack and to wrap and protect the existing equipment in there while construction is going on within that room and above that room, while also allowing the install of a new enclosure with a cabinet fan to replace the 2-post exposed face rack.
Need a motion to approve PCO number 5 for both Maine Dunstable and Birch Hill in the amount for each school of $8,551. So moved by Alderman Wilshire. I forgot to mention this for the data rack. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
PCO number 6, Maine Dunstable Elementary School and Birch Hill Elementary School, is for gym duct replacement. The existing ductwork within the gym will be replaced with new spiral duct, and if approved, there would be $46,702.95 for the gym duct replacement at both Birch Hill Elementary and Maine Dunstable.
I'll need a motion to approve PCO number 6 for the gym duct replacement at both Maine Dunstable and Birch Hill, each school having an amount of $46,702.95. So moved by Alderman Lopez. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
PCO number 7 for Birch Hill Elementary School and Maine Dunstable Elementary School is for the kiln refurbishment. This is the mechanical, electrical, and control portion of that refurbishment, bringing a new electrical circuit, new controls, and new mechanical backdraft damper for the kiln. If approved, it would be $11,000 for each Birch Hill Elementary and Maine Dunstable Elementary.
I'll need a motion to approve PCO number 7 for Maine Dunstable and PCO number 7 for Birch Hill for kiln refurbishment in the amount of $11,000 per school.
So moved.
Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
On to the PCCOs. PCCO number 1, Birch Hill Elementary School and Maine Dunstable Elementary School, is in regards to the roof replacement, the existing roof drains, as well as the existing exhaust fans. If approved, that would be $112,000, $112,145.60 at each Birch Hill Elementary School and Maine Dunstable Elementary School.
So just to refresh, PCCOs, the PCOs have already been approved. This is just the crossing the Ts, dotting the Is for the contract. So I need an approval for PCCO number 1 for Maine Dunstable and Birch Hill for roof replacement, design development, replacing roof drains and existing fans in the amount not to exceed $112,145.60. By Alderman Wiltshire. Any discussion? None. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carries. Next.
PCCO number 2, Birch Hill Elementary School, Maine Dunstable Elementary School, is for supplemental cooling in both the computer lab and the media room, which contains the servers for security and internet. The previously approved cost of $41,500 remains for PCCO number 2, Birch Hill Elementary and Maine Dunstable Elementary.
I'll need a motion to approve PCCO number 2 for both Maine Dunstable Elementary School and Birch Hill School for supplementary cooling in the amount not to exceed $41,500. No wonder. Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
And last but not least, PCCO number 3, Birch Hill Elementary School, Maine Dunstable Elementary School, is in regards to the speaker replacement, to replace the previously submitted speakers with the school district standard speakers to match the remainder of the school district. That is the previous approved cost of $5,480.43 at each school.
93 cents.
What did I say? I'm sorry.
Said 43.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Be a whole.
$5,408.93
Half a
per
buck.
school.
We could make up to 50 cents.
It's $1 because you're two.
Okay. So I'll need a motion to approve PCCO number 3 at Birch Hill Elementary School and Maine Dunstable Elementary School for the speaker replacement in an amount not to exceed $5,480.93. I'd like to make that motion. So moved by Alderman Wiltshire. Any discussion? None. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I think we turn. John, are you handling the rest of these?
I am. Okay, the first one is a request by the architect for the security vestibule project to increase their compensation for the work they're doing. There was a letter in your package to go over this. Basically, you may recall, we originally had a budget of $2 million for 3 schools. By the time we got all the way through the design drawings and construction drawings, Dr. Chris used most of that money up. So after the documents were updated, the estimate is now almost $4 million. So because they went from 2 million to almost 4, doubled, they're looking for additional compensation for that, which I agree they should receive. Typically, architects' costs are related directly to the construction cost. Is that right, Mr.? Yes.
To clarify, this is not my proposal, but yes.
It's just a general architect question. You're the only one here. So you one over there too.
Not exactly, but yes.
So, of course, we are waiting on a decision from Mount Pleasant and New Searles. We met with the principal about a week and a half ago, came up with a new design, so the architect is now putting pen to paper and taking that to the next step. They'll bring it back to us for next approval, then we'll give them the go-ahead to go to construction documents. At that point, then Harvey will receive those documents and come up with a new estimate for New Searles. Depending on what we decide to do with Mount Pleasant, we'll go through the whole process at that point. So if you add everything up, they are looking for an increase of $164,450. I agree that it's a fair compensation for what they're doing.
So I'll need a motion to add additional architect and engineering design services for the security vestibule upgrades in the amount of $164,450. So moved by Alderman Wiltshire. Any questions?
I just have a comment. So this increase does not cover Mount Pleasant at all. And if we proceed with that one, that'll be a whole new cost from them. This gets us through Dr. Crisp and New Searles.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So it was for the first two schools, originally for the first three schools. So we got 1.5 done, and then they had to do another one. Can you explain that all to me? Because if I'm confused, I'm sure there's other people that's confused on how we started out with 3 schools, and then we're here, and then did we have to go back? Did we have more questions we had to ask? How does it?
So the original construction estimate, which the architect had a hand in putting together, was $2 million for 3 schools. We then got the construction cost from Harvey for Dr. Crisp. And I don't have that number in front of me. There was somewhere around
$1.3 million.
Pardon?
1.3 million.
Okay. So we only had 2 million to start with, so we had 1.3. So we knew we couldn't proceed with New Searles. We had a construction estimate for New Searles, actually, that was somewhere in the neighborhood of $2.4 million. So add 1.3 to 2.4, it's 3.7. That's where I said 4 million, I just rounded it off. So that's just hard construction costs, doesn't include our soft costs. When we reached the point of, at that point, about the same time, the Board of Ed did not decide what to do with Mount Pleasant as far as closing it or keeping it open. So we decided that, okay, we're not going to worry about that for now. So the costs that I present to you are just for Dr. Crisp and New Searles. When and if you decide to keep the school open, we keep the school open, then we'll get a new cost to do that.
Couple of things to add. We did get the design from Mount Pleasant, so that's be set to go if we touch that school. If downstream they renovate the school, the security vestibule will be incorporated in as part of it. It wouldn't be part of this project. Also, I've taken legislative action to move the monies that were left over from Franklin Street into the vestibule project. So when we have to get additional bond money, it will be less than it would have been. So we're hoping that the new design at New Searles is significantly less expensive, because 2.7 million was out of the ballpark, and they were just adding to the front of the building, which we don't want to add to the building. They're going to use 2 existing classrooms and modify them, so we're expecting it'll be a reasonable cost, but we don't have that cost yet, and that's why design architects. Yes, Ms. Gillian?
I just had a question, I guess, for Mr. Smith. The original figure that we have, should we proceed with renovating and updating Mount Pleasant, and so you said it included the design of the vestibule. Did it also include the financial aspect of funding the vestibule, or is that separate from the rest of the renovation estimate?
I'm sorry, are we talking about?
Mount Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant. So we have a very notional design. It's very, very rough. It's not ready for construction, not even close. And we haven't paid for that.
You haven't paid for it?
again, I think notional design is probably a good term to describe it. It's just, if Sean was to take a piece of paper and start drawing classrooms and very roughly, then we've all agreed to that drawing. It actually came out pretty well as far as a plan. But we still have to pay for the rest of the design costs we still have to pay for.
So that is not included in the estimate that you've given us
Correct.
to renovate and upgrade Mount
Correct.
Pleasant.
Alderman Sullivan?
Thank you. I'm just trying to understand the spreadsheet. And I see down below that you have how you got to the 164,450 of additional architect fees. What is that on line 11 where it says additional architect fee from 11/17/23 of 155,822? Because you have, the way I look at it is you have an original architect fee of 208,500, then below that, additional architect fee of 155,822, and then you have these in red. Was this 155,822 already approved? And we're adding on top of that?
That was not approved because that was the anticipated cost to get us through New Searles, which was an addition in front of the school. So we've now decided not to do that. We're doing everything within the existing footprint. So the red numbers are the actual increased numbers. So part of that is 57,000 based on a GMP increase. 86,000 was for starting all over at New Searles because they did a design probably through 35%. And we decided that was too expensive. So they had to go back to the drawing board. So that was additional fee for that. And then construction administration, that fee was not previously included for New Searles.
So I should X out the 155,822. That's.
Yeah, this spreadsheet was kind of for me to take a look at their letter and make sense of it. So it took me a while to figure it out as well. So just look at the red numbers, and those are the ones that were coming up with a 164,450.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So I believe the motion on the floor is to add additional architectural engineering design services for the security vestibule upgrades of amount of 164,450. Any additional discussion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next item here is the request for purchase of Chromebooks. This came from our IT director. There should be a letter in your package. They went out and received three bids from three companies, and their recommendation is to go with the low bid, which is IT Insiders. That purchase is 1,100 Chromebooks for a total of $263,200.
Okay, we'll need a motion to approve the purchase of Chromebooks for the Brian S. McCarthy Middle School in the amount of $263,200. So moved by Alderman Wilshire. Any discussion? Ms. Bishop?
I feel like we talked about this at the last meeting. These are to replace the Elm Street Chromebooks. What are we doing with the Elm Street Chromebooks? Are we gifting them to whoever?
No, they'll be the ones in good working condition will be redistributed.
Okay.
And then we, part of our tech plan will have a refurbishment plan for ongoing years. So
Okay.
the ones in good standing will be reused.
Are the Chromebooks standing up the way we wanted them to or how we were expecting them
Yes.
to?
Yep, they're actually lasting longer. And then just kind of moving forward, our plan is that sixth graders and ninth graders will get a new Chromebook, and it'll be theirs for the 3 years.
Yeah.
So currently, they were returning, and I could inherit yours next year.
Yeah.
And not that I don't want to inherit yours, but just more ownership, knowing that it's going to be yours for 3 years.
I had to tell you, I bought a new Chromebook when we were sitting at home doing all those Zoom meetings, and then I completely forgot I bought it. And Julia came downstairs with this. I was like, "Where did you get this Chromebook? It's really nice." She's like, "I traded it with Ollie for like something in his room," and I was like, "This is mine." I was like, "You're trading stuff that isn't," but it was like 2 years and I hadn't even seen it. So these kids are doing a good job.
Any other questions on this motion? Being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Mr. Smith?
Next item is, it says emergency response system. That's actually the shooter detection system. So you may recall, we received state grants to install these systems in the majority of our schools. The devices and everything were covered by the grant, but did not, we're capped at $100,000 per school. So that covered all the devices that are in the school, all the wiring. It did not include the, what we call the hub, so the computer aspect of it, the central hub. And that's what this purchase is for. So we're looking for $26,426 to purchase that from AMP Global Strategies.
That amount again?
$28,426.
I'm sorry, I just switched notebooks. Can you say that again? I apologize.
$28,426.00.
So I'll need a motion to installation of emergency response system for the Brian S. McCarthy School in the amount of $28,426. So moved by
John.
All right, any other discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Next item is to purchase track equipment for the brand-new track. As you know, Elm Street does not have its own track, therefore it does not have hurdles. It doesn't have discus cage, it doesn't have the toe board when you're doing a shot put. So all those things still need to be procured for the new middle school. And Lisa Gingras got a quote from MF Athletic to procure all those things for, make sure I got the right number, $33,870.40.
1,800 and,
$33,870.40.
okay, so I'll need a motion to purchase of track and field equipment for the Brian S. McCarthy Middle School in the amount of not to exceed $33,870.40.
So moved.
Emilio, any discussion? Alderman Sullivan?
Just on the hurdles and some of the other equipment, just a minor question. Are these going to be branded with the logo of the school, the name of the school on it?
Actually, yes. Well, like South High School has purple.
Sure.
They'll have a red to match the red that we use for the logo.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, they make sure they don't disappear. All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
And the last item I have is the recommendation to purchase a lift for McCarthy Middle School. If you've had the opportunity to walk around the school, particularly like in the cafeteria and gym, you'll note there's very high ceilings. In the cafeteria itself, a lot of the, as I call it, wall paneling there's recesses in it, nooks and crannies that it's tough to get to. So we're looking to purchase a lift so we can reach all those spaces. In that same cafeteria area, there's a lot of glass way up high. There's no way for us to get to it. And then lastly, lights. We installed LED lighting, I believe, everywhere. So that hopefully will last a while, but when we do have to replace it, again, we have to get up there. It's not something we want to do with a ladder. So we actually went out and got several quotes. It's tough to get a quote for a new lift. A lot of rental companies wanted to sell us their used ones, but they're all at least 6 years old. Well, this one here was there's one here for 10 years old. but we're looking to purchase one from, W.D. Matthews for $21,620.
Okay, so need a motion to recommend yes, to procure a purchase lift for Brian S. McCarthy School in the amount of $21,621. So moved by Alderman Sullivan. And actually, I was there today talking to Doug, who was the head custodian, and that area above the stage that has that hoop down area, these are middle school students. He's anticipating that somebody's gonna throw something up there, and this is 26 feet, so. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Fortunately, the lights will last a long time, but the windows, they have to be cleaned. Okay, invoices.
Okay, invoices for EEI, we have 2 invoices for Birchill and Maine Dunstable totaling $393,996. Harriman, 3 invoices for Birchill, Maine Dunstable, and McCarthy totaling $30,092.46. For Harvey, we have 5 invoices for Birchill, Maine Dunstable, McCarthy, Penachuk, and Dr. Crisp totaling $2,481,388.48. For Hayner Swanson, for work at McCarthy Middle School, $953.22. For IntraSystems, that's one of the IT vendors for work at McCarthy, $16,500. John Turner Consulting is our testing agent, work at Franklin Street and McCarthy, 3 invoices totaling $6,026.50. I will say that the ones for Franklin Street were from last summer. They claim they sent them to us in October. We have no sign of them. So, but we do owe them the money. I did check with Harvey to make sure that it jived with the testing that was going on. So late, but we still have to pay. One invoice for MB Tractor was for the tractor we received from McCarthy, $74,107.50. Page Street Leasing for the ground storage units, $555. Pro AV, I believe this was for the flat panel displays, $259,999.60. RPF Environmental, our industrial hygienist, 2 invoices totaling $14,905. Shopsmith, no relation to me, is, those are actually very neat machines. They're gonna be in the wood shop, and they do like 5 or 6 different things. So if I could get a piece of that action, I'd probably be rich. But the invoice for that is $16,184.25. And finally, Turner Building Science, our architect for the security vegetable project. I'm sorry, something doesn't look right to me here. Okay, I'm back in it. They are the commissioning agent, and they're doing commissioning at Birchill, Maine Dunstable, and as you heard earlier, wrapping up things at McCarthy. Those total $12,320. So in summation, for Franklin Street, $2,001.50. For the middle school project, $2,234,787.28. For Birchill, Maine Dunstable, $1,029,382.33. And for the security vegetable project, $22,254.86. Those all add up to $3,288,425.97.
So I'll need a motion to approve the invoices for the Franklin Street invoices of $2,001.50, middle school project invoices in the amount of $2,234,787.28, Birchill Maine Dunstable invoices in the amount of $1,029,382.33, $29,382.33, and security vestibule invoices in the amount of $22,254.86, for total invoices to be paid this evening, $3,288,425.97. So moved by Alderman Wilshire. Any questions? Alderman Lopez.
Point of clarification. Just a point of clarification, you said earlier that you were planning on rolling over any additional or remaining funds from Franklin Street project into the vestibule.
Security vestibule.
So when does that take place? And I'm assuming that we still
Alderman votes on the legislation. It's just being introduced by legal. It'll go for first reading at our next meeting. It'll be referred to the Budget Committee and then back to the full board. So,
Since this is last year's invoice, are there other ones we're expecting?
no. We've already taken that into account. The money we're transferring doesn't impacted by this.
Okay. Whenever I hear, I swear we sent it, I'm like, wait a minute.
No. All right. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Remarks by committee members. Alderman Sullivan.
Just a general question, because we did PCOs tonight, and then we had some recommendations on buying equipment. Just for clarification, why is it then when we looked at buying Chromebooks, for instance, we got 3 bids, and then when we were looking at redoing the roof or whatever, there weren't bids in there, but there were contracts already placed. Why is there bidding for some things and not for others?
I can answer that.
That went to Harvey.
Yeah. So the justification for that, Alderman Sullivan, is really that we already have existing contracts in place for those items, and we're engaging those subcontractors to do additional work. So most of the time when you go to engage a new subcontractor and get them to remobilize onto your site, so they have to do a new mobilization, they have to bring all their equipment down, all their guys down, that adds additional cost. So 9 times out of 10, when we do that, for instance, like with the gymnasium improvements, I reached out to several vendors for all of those items and then brought forward the lowest cost, which was how we were able to introduce some savings from that. So typically, we're just negotiating with our existing subcontractors, if that makes sense.
Follow up, please?
Follow up.
Okay, so since it's your contract, it's your purview, then that all fits under your guaranteed maximum price, and that's all tied in together?
So if we're bringing forward a new PCO,
Right.
and then the PCCO would, increase the guaranteed maximum price afterward. But the thing is that we're bringing forward the most competitive price because that subcontractor's already there, already doing the work, and they're gonna give us the best price to do that work.
So essentially, and I'm sorry to just belabor this point,
Good.
but you're the general contractor, these are the subcontractors, they report up into you. So you've vetted them, you've taken the bids, so we don't see that. We trust that you've taken the lowest qualified bid, and that's what we see there. As opposed to the Chromebooks, you're not responsible for the Chromebooks, we are, so that's why we see the bid, and that's why we do it.
That is correct, and that's why you'll see the multiple bids when we bring forward a recommendation.
Okay.
We go through that process.
Thank you very much,
Yep.
thanks.
Bids just go through Mr. Smith and not the construction company. They get bids. IT, I'm sure, got bids from different companies. Oh, Jamie.
Thank you. And another point to the PCOs that come through. Again, they're already established contracts, but the PCOs come to the architect and engineers, and we also do a cursory review to make sure that it fits what we anticipate for the added scope. So another set of eyes kind of going over it. So.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
okay, thanks.
Lots of eyes. All right.
Mine don't have
Any other committee members' comments? I did want to mention that we'd originally talked about tours for the joint special and the Board of Ed and the Board of Aldermen, and that was shot down completely by Corporation Council. It's not allowed. And the reason is that anytime you have a quorum of one of these city committees, you have to make it a public meeting, and opening the construction site to public, it puts a burden on the contractors as far as their liability. We can't do that. If we go individually, they don't care if we get hurt. But as a group, as a public elected officials, you can't have a meeting without opening it to the entire general public. Yes.
How come we could all go to the dirt throwing thing then?
Turf throwing?
What was it? The groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking. Because we hadn't started the project
Sorry,
yet.
I HGTV'd that one for you guys.
We hadn't started the project yet, and that was open to the general public.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people there.
Okay,
had nothing
that
to
was
do
the
with this.
difference.
Yes.
There's some stipulations, like if it's a ceremony, we all can go to graduation, right?
Right.
So if it's ceremonial or things in that aspect, it's not
So
a,
like if we did a ribbon cutting, we
that's
could all
fine.
go and do a tour?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah,
Or if we
you
had a
wanna go-
rolling tour, like if we offered, like, you can go between 2 and 4, and with the administration, that's fine, as long as not everyone's meeting at the same time and in that aspect of it. So there are some stipulations around the open meeting laws that actually the Board of Education actually has more leeway for school events and such and so forth, for
Right.
honors nights and in that aspect, that you can attend as a board member, and it doesn't constitute a meeting.
It gets a lot freer once that we sign off on the project and Harvey's
Yeah.
given us the final bill. And
I'm just getting jealous that everyone else has been in there but us.
anybody individually who wants to contact me and go down on their own,
Yeah.
let me know, but
I know the teachers keep raving about it.
I just want to wish everyone a happy Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you. Thank you.
so, if there's nothing else, do I have there's no non-public needed. Do I have a motion? Motion on the floor is to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? We're adjourned at 8:12.